Hey, what's up everybody, Nexel here. Today we are playing Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and I have to start this video by saying I am very disappointed at where the game is right now. I really feel like it's promoting this very bad culture of, well, in order to be the best, you have to buy everything, and you have to make sure you literally pay in order to win. And we'll talk about that a little bit more at the end, but just know that I'm starting this video off by saying, if you want to leave this game, if you want to take a temporary break from it, if you want to decrease the amount of time you're playing in this game, this is a really solid time to do so. Because there's a lot of things fluctuating right now, power creeps, all this stuff happening right now, and at some point it's going to stabilize, but right now is definitely not that time. Alright, so let's go through our notices. I'll give my advice on them, and then we will go talk about sort of like what we sort of mini-ranted about just a minute ago. So we start with our Radiance Reward Raid event, and remember that while it does seem like another regular raid week, while we do get the rewards for ranking really high, remember that this board, so I actually pulled it up already, has jewels in it. So for raiding this week, you can get up to 300 additional jewels for the week for defeating the raid boss. So keep that in mind. It's not just any regular raid week. It is not just a deluxe ranking week. You are able to get jewels from these raid boards. And remember that you get the coins by defeating the raid boss. For the week outside of the bonus times, it's only 5 AP to take on the raid boss. And then during those bonus times, it's 0 AP. So it's really easy to raid whenever you have free time. You can honestly like pop open a movie, start watching that, just raid on the side. But try and get those 300 jewels for the week if you are able to. Alright, next thing, so we talked about this a little bit, the Deluxe Lux ranking rewards. My gosh, so many tongue twisters. So, the reward for this week is going to be Simba plushie that goes on the arm. And it doesn't say what it gives. It really should say what it gives, but I guess this is the notices that they've changed to. But yeah, it's pretty cute. Pretty much, anyone who particularly tries for the most part for this week, you know, does their fair share of, like, gameplay this week, will be getting this, so it's not particularly hard to get these guys. And if you're having a hard time, definitely leave a comment below. I will try my best to help you out with what we've currently got in the game and what you've currently got in stock. Alright, moving on to the Weekly Jewel Extravaganza, or the WJE. So there's actually some solid stuff in here. So first thing, we are getting Supernova plus Illustrated Ventus, so that tier 4 metal thing that they're doing, bringing it up to tier 9. This is actually not a bad choice for some people, because we do not have any speed medals that have defense break on them. The closest we have is Blitzform Sora, which can give Monster Sora speed attribute and prevent it from being reflected by Anti-Aqua. So the fact that we have just a straight up medal that has defense break on it, that is upright green, is really solid, especially since it can fit in things like the 5th slot of Fairy Stars. It can fit into a lot of different places. It can be in the pet slot. You can copy it with like a forward copying imitation medal in order to try and get that extra defense break out. So the fact that we have an upright speed one, pretty solid. It is only 10% though, meaning that 1 every 10 hits is going to be a defense break. So just keep that in mind. It's good, but 10% is really low, like really low. I think the medal only does so many hits. So to have only like, I think it does like 13 hits if I remember this medal correctly. It's one of those like super flashy kind of attacks. Oh wait, I forgot. They classify it as a tier 9 now, so let's head over there. And where are you? Here you are. Okay, so deals 13 hits. So pretty much statistically, at least one of those hits should be doing a defense break. And the fact that it does more hits actually works out in your favor, because that means every single hit that is going off has that 10% chance. So while it won't be front-loading a bunch of damage if it does hit a defense break, it has multiple occurrences of hitting a defense break, which is actually really good. So I think that that's honestly a solid medal. If some people were thinking about buying it, if you do VIP already, by all means, this is just another medal in your bucket. But if you have a hard time deciding whether or not you think you should do VIP, I think this is definitely like a solid plus to have here. Alright, so we get another Sora and Stitch medal and 5 trait medals for it. Again, this medal is only relevant more or less for the month that we have it, unless you get extra attack on it and you don't have a good buffer. This is a solid replacement. So if you don't have like 2 Kingdom Hearts 3 Kairis, if you don't have a Kairi and an HD Xion, this can substitute as another buffer. I don't know if they have the medal details, because they're probably going to bounce me to the other one. Yeah, so it says pretty much go check out the other one. So pretty solid medal to have. It's just like the Sora and Peter Pan and Sora and Chip and Dale medals, but I really haven't used those medals outside of the month that they came out, so I don't expect me to be using the Sora and Stitch medal outside of this month. But again, if you need the boosting, if you need the buffering, this is a pretty solid medal to have in your inventory. And to get 5 trait medals for it means you're getting a chance at hitting that extra attack, which is going to keep this medal even more relevant after the month is over. So if it's anything like the Sora and Peter Pan and the Sora and Chip and Dale, extra attack is what's going to get you that plus 15 general strength, minus 15 general enemy defense. So, yeah, wait, did I say, what did I say? Yeah, minus 15 general enemy defense. Sorry about that. Had a little brain confusion there. But yeah, pretty solid medal. You get 5 chances, and then it also counts as, I believe, a tier 8 to boost your sub slots up. So if all your sub slots are not beyond tier 8 or higher, if you have like tier 7s, tier 6s, tier 5s, this definitely takes the slot in one of them and kind of boosts your strength even further. Alright, so this is actually kind of why I want to buy VIP. So get the Meow Wow Snuggly avatar part and 1,400 jewels. That Snuggly is honestly super cute. Like, I think if there's one thing I feel like I missed out on when it comes to Kingdom Hearts merchandise, I feel like I really missed out on the Meow Wow plush that came out, like, I think it was roughly about 7-8 years ago. The Meow Wow plush came out. I couldn't buy it. I was just a young lad at the time, couldn't pay for it. So if there's anything I feel like I missed out on, it was definitely that. But let's take a quick look here. Should be at the bottom. So it gives rare enemy perk +4. And if we go to our avatar parts, we can pretty much see what I have that has a raid perk for the hand. So we're going to go ahead. Or it was rare, right? I believe it was rare enemy perk. Let me just check it really quick. Rare enemy perk. Yes. Okay. So we are looking for rare enemy perk, and we are looking for hand pieces. So for hand pieces, we have gloves. And we have several gloves that do +2. We have a few gloves that give +4. I believe this one might have been free. I don't recall exactly. But there's a few solid options for +4. If you don't have a +4 right now, it's fine. Rare enemy perk is nice, but there is no such thing as rare enemy perk +100. So pretty much, for example, the event coins mission right now, I have a lot of rare enemy perk on this avatar board, but I've pretty much only been spawning the gift shadow only so frequently. So I really don't think the difference between 2 and 4 is going to be so great that enemy is always going to be popping up when you need it to. So it is important to have rare enemy perk for when you do those things, but I would not go out of my way to do it, I guess is what I'm saying. So going back to here, but I would get it because it's cute. Like, honestly, it looks super cute. Then we get 3 tier 9 dual Meow Wows, which is actually pretty solid because some people really struggle in PvP. Like, they don't have the right setups. They only have one really good setup. Everything else is kind of iffy. So if you struggle in PvP, if you have a lot of medals that need to be upgraded from Supernova to Supernova Plus and are tier 9s, this is really solid because some people can do like 6 draws off of tickets and not have enough tier 9 dual Meow Wows in order to level their stuff up. So if you need this, if you know for sure it's going to advance your game, by all means, it's a pretty solid choice because you're guaranteeing yourself 3 of them. However, if you're going to do it just because you want to bring something from Supernova to Supernova Plus, maybe reconsider, because you really should only be buying things that you know are going to help you progress your game further. Moving on, we've got just the standard stuff: SP Chips and Dale, 7 magic brooms and magic mirrors, all 3 gems ×2, and then 5 blue fairies, 2 tier 8s, 2 tier 7s, and 1 tier 6. The rest of this stuff is honestly just maintenance stuff, so things that everyone gets every week if they buy a VIP at this point. Nothing here should be particularly hard to farm, except I'd argue the SP Chips and Dales and the gems. The brooms and the mirrors or whatever, the blue fairies, as long as you really participate in PvP, it shouldn't be too hard. But the gems and Chips and Dales are probably going to be definitely the hardest things to farm, since you can't farm gems, and Chips and Dales are hard to... I don't think there's actually a free-to-play method to farm for Chips and Dales. So, pretty solid WJE, in my opinion. And remember that this is another thing. So this was brought to my attention last time when I was talking about Aqua, Illustrated Aqua A. So the way this works is you're going to get a Supernova Plus Illustrated Ventus right off the bat, and then 5 trait medals. So if you're like me and you already have a Supernova, I'm sorry, you already have an Illustrated Ventus A, even if it has traits that you like. So for example, I've got raids plus 80% on that one. This one's got nothing. Even if it has traits you like, it doesn't matter because you're not getting 5 7-star copies of Illustrated Ventus. You're getting 1 Supernova Plus copy and 5 trait medals for that copy. So unfortunately, you're kind of stuck where the game really should have been giving you 5 7-star copies of the medal, but instead it's going to give you 1 Supernova Plus copy and then 5 trait medals, which is kind of an unfortunate decision in my personal opinion. Alright, moving down the line, so we talked about the Weekly Jewel Extravaganza. I believe the next thing we have to talk about is going to be the Xigbar, falling price deal. So let's go ahead and talk about it here. So first thing to note, this banner is even across PvP, or I'm sorry, across pay to plays and free to plays. This banner is completely even. There is no VIP board. There is no special pull for those who do VIP. It's all even. Every player has an equal shot at this, and this is a banner. That's what I'm gonna say, banner, not board. This is a banner that I actually like, where it gives both players, all types of players, any sort of player, like an even chance, and it really relies on your ability to think through the medal, kind of analyze if you want it, analyze if you need it, and then make your decisions from there. I think this is definitely a format that I have missed from a long time. I really don't like the whole VIP board and then free-to-play board. Like, I think it's kind of just not, it's not gamer friendly, and that's my big thing. I want the game to be liked by gamers instead of having them feel like they're trapped into playing this game, especially, and I keep mentioning this a lot, post Kingdom Hearts 3, this game roped in a lot of new players, so they really don't know what life was like before for us when we were playing before Kingdom Hearts 3 dropped. Recent changes that they made. So Kingdom Hearts 3 was the time where they could have reset things on the game, and they definitely did it in a way that tried to seclude the paying players and the free-to-play players. So I like that this is a board format that's back. So it's going to be a falling price deal, which is a good thing. It's going to be 2 Kingdom Hearts 3 medals per draw, and remember that those Kingdom Hearts 3 medals can be Tier 9 Supernova medals. You're going to get 1 trait, which is, again, a format I support, because you pull from the banner, you get the medal, and you have traits for it. Good, solid, all in one package here. You're going to get 7 additional medals, which, again, can be 5-star or higher, so that's another chance at Supernovas. And then 5 magic mirrors. Whatever, doesn't really matter too much at this point because a lot of the medals we get are max skilted already. And then we are going to get 10 VIP coins, which is good because, again, falling price deal, at some point you hit 1,900 jewels per pull, but the amount of VIP coins you get stays the same. And if they release an avatar board later this month, which is like, hey, we're bringing back this super awesome, super OP medal, and you can only get it with VIP coins, this is a cheap way to get those VIP coins. So, honestly, I think it's a pretty solid banner. The only thing, and it comes boosted, of course, because that's like the mechanic they're pushing right now. You're going to get it guaranteed in 5 draws, which means you're spending roughly, I believe if the math all works out, like 11,000 jewels in order to get this. And you're only getting this. This is the only guarantee. It's none of that crazy 3 mercy pull or whatever. So I like this. I like this banner format. I wish they would bring it back more. But unfortunately, Square Enix is definitely on like a money creep right now. Not just a power creep, but like a money creep. So that's why we're not really seeing it that much. We have 7 days to pull from this. And let's take a look at that medal, which looks pretty cool, I gotta admit. We don't get a lot of reverse green, but let's go ahead and take a look at this guy. So it is going to be a single target medal that deals 6 hits that ignore target's attributes, meaning that you will always be doing super effective damage. So for example, when you hit a power enemy with a magic medal, you're doing super effective damage. Or when you hit a speed enemy with a power medal, super effective damage. This medal, even though it's reverse green, no matter what it is hitting, it will be doing that super effective damage. It is going to be popping the yellow numbers up on the screen, meaning that you are hitting that thing for weakness, and that is a really solid mechanic. We've had this mechanic before in a lot of different medals, so let's go ahead and pull some of those up. So I know for sure there are some green tier 3s that have it. So the previous Xigbar did deal 6 extremely powerful hits that ignore target's attributes. And then, where is it? Right here. Young King Mickey A also had it, so it ignored target's attributes. So while I like the ignore target attribute thing, it really hasn't seen a lot of love in this game. Like, there have been very few moments where it's been better than like a medal that had a higher multiplier, dealt more damage, that was in the pet slot or something like that. So while I think it is a good mechanic, I feel like it's hard to utilize it properly, and there's very few places where it has a place in the game. So looking at this medal, again, it's reverse green, meaning that even though it will deal super effective damage, it still has to be on a reverse green slot in order to get the most amount of damage on it. You can't just put it in any green slot, you can't just put it in any slot and it's going to deal the same amount of damage. It needs to be in that reverse green slot. So when we look at our Keyblades, really there's not too many places to put it that aren't the pet slot, and you kind of want to reserve the pet slot for like your big damage dealing medal. So while I know that that Xigbar would be a big damage dealing medal, it's single target, and that's another thing, is that it's only going to be focusing on one enemy, so it's great for boss fights. In boss fights, it's going to be a big deal because you're always hitting for super effective damage, and that is going to deal the damage almost necessary in order to pass that quest. So think back to the Jafar event. Think back to like a lot of people who were struggling with it. If you had this Xigbar, it could actually help you a lot because it would be dealing almost maximum amounts of damage to it, and if you got ground and aerial enemy defense on it, there's going to be very few boss enemies that are going to be able to stand in your way. So this is pretty much one of the few places where I think I'd consider putting it. So aside from the pet slot, which again can hold anything, you can put it on the Divine Rose. And then if you're feeling like you want to be real tricky, you can do something like this, where, if I could find the medal, where you could put Nominate EX here, Nominate EX Plus, and it would make that Xigbar from single target to hitting everything. It would make it from single target to area of effect that deals weakness damage on everything, no matter what it is. The trade-off is that this Nominate deals fixed damage, and you're putting it on a slot that's like a times, I forgot what it is without the subslots, at level 35. That's on a times 2.9 multiplier, which is pretty high without subslots. So to be able to take up a power damage dealing slot, like a very strong damage dealing slot, in order to use a fixed damage medal to make the next medal strong, I don't really know how I feel about that. It's kind of hard figuring out how to use Xigbar, even though I think his effect is great, but it's just hard to really pull it off. Alright, so let's head back over here. So I guess to wrap this up all in a nice little bow, let's talk about the rest of the effect. So for 2 turns, you're going to get an increased reverse and speed strength by 5, special attack bonus plus 170, and then decreases target's reverse and speed defense by 5. Not really a big deal. It does kind of play against the medal that it's not self-buffing, but it will compensate for if you have an extra attack Xion that has that'll give you plus 14 reverse defense, or I'm sorry, plus 14 reverse strength, and then gives the enemy minus 14 reverse defense. This closes up that hole, making you at a perfect reverse strength up 15 and enemy reverse defense down by 15. So it covers that, which is pretty solid. But if you have just no extra attack on that Xion, then it's not going to get you there. So it is not a self-buffing medal, and that kind of plays against it. For the Supernova, it's for 1 turn, reverse strength by 5, increases general strength by 15, special attack bonus plus 200 or plus 250 when it's upgraded to Supernova Plus, and decreases target's general defense by 15. So when I think about this part, it's a really solid PvP medal because it pretty much gives you maximum strength and maximum general defense down buffs for the turn, which is really good because then you don't need to put something like Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora or Kingdom Hearts 3 Riku or Kingdom Hearts 3 Young Master Xehanort, because this medal Supernova attack will give you that plus 15, minus 15 that you need in order to maximize your damage, and then allows you to put a damage dealing medal in that 3rd slot. So really solid against triple threat setups in PvP, but maybe not too much so if you're at very high levels of PvP where they have like just craziness going on. A lot of craziness is going on in the high levels of PvP. No one's really playing the triple threat strategy. So this becomes a little less relevant, or at least not a lot of people are playing triple threat. Most of them are playing like paralysis 100 resist or like sleep resist 100. So not too much going on there. Do I think it's worth pulling into this? Honestly, right now, no. I would wait because I want to see what comes out towards the end of this banner, see if they drop something even crazier than Xigbar. There's a lot of pros and a pretty solid amount of cons with this medal. The multiplier isn't super great, doesn't fit in a lot of different places, so I would wait. You have 7 days to decide. There's no real reason to pull for it right now, because remember, you shouldn't be pulling unless it's going to help you right now with something. So either you know the medal is future proof and it's going to just have timeless value, or you need it to clear something. And looking at the events right now, some of this stuff just isn't worth pulling 11,000 jewels worth of stuff for. So just keep that in mind. If you don't need it, you don't really need it. Do I think it's future proof? Not really, because they haven't been treating the ignores target's attributes very well in this game right now. Like honestly, those medals that I showed you, haven't really used them, to be honest. Maybe it'll be relevant for a high score challenge, because they might just give you a bunch of boss enemies, and then Xigbar is going to be really great because he'll always do super effective damage. But right now, I don't think it's worth pulling. I definitely think you can wait. Alright, so this is where we talk about what I think is probably one of the worst ideas that's ever come to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and that's the power, speed, and magic booster boards. Whoever thought of this, like, is slightly evil. I honestly think that this is a horrible idea. I think it is one of the worst ideas that I've ever seen in this game. So let's look through it right now. Boost power, speed, and magic medals from the new booster boards. They will boost that attribute. So if you buy the power one, you're getting that 30% power. Speed, you're getting the 30% speed until the end of June. So first of all, you're buying a board, and it only lasts until the end of the month. And it only picks one attribute. Like, there's a lot of weird problems here. Get your boosters to destroy powerful enemies, which is almost like a troll statement. So we have until the end of the month to buy these boards. And they're 3,000 jewels per board. Like, what in the world? You're gonna make me pay the equivalent of $30 US for a booster that's gonna last until the end of the month? It's crazy. And we haven't seen boosters in a long time, but for anyone who remembers back in the day, boosters were almost sort of vital to defeating certain quests. So the fact that they have boosters here, they're like, oh, let's bring back this really solid mechanic that people were using in order to pass content, but let's monetize it. And I think that's the part where I really don't like where this is going at all. So let's head over to our avatar boards. Let's take a quick look at them. So these are just awful, ridiculously awful boards. So why do I think this sucks? First of all, for those who used to play like way back in the day when boosters were offered for free if you played Union Cross, that's right, for the newer players, you used to get these boosters within Union Cross boards. So it incentivized people to play Union Cross, which is the name of the game, and then you can get them for free. You really just had to put the work in to get the crossboards and then unlock them, and you're good for the month. However, they're just monetizing it now. So they are slapping a jewel cost on these things that used to be free, that people used to pass content, and it rewarded them for playing Union Cross, which is important because nowadays there's very little reward for playing Union Cross aside from the jewels. So, honestly, the fact that they monetize it, it honestly makes me a little bit angry. It's just like, hey, we're gonna make you more powerful, but you have to pay for it. And this is literally the example of paying to win, because it's saying, hey, if you buy this, you're going to be stronger. And if you're stronger, you can do more things. And it's just like, why? You know? Like, games, one of the most important parts about games, in my opinion, is that you can figure out your problems, that you can think your way through it, and you can kind of use different ways to get there. But in the end, if your method is sound, if you have like a good setup, if you think your way through the enemies, you're able to pass. But this is just a cold slap to the face saying you need to pay if you want to keep winning. and that is just ridiculous. Honestly, I think it is absurd. These guys are just, I feel like whoever thought of this, like, didn't care what players thought. They just really did not take player consideration into this. They're just like, what's a way we can make money fast? Everyone's obsessed with winning right now. Let's go ahead, make a board where they have to literally pay in order to stay relevant. So what does this affect? It affects everything. Because being more powerful means you're passing content. It means you're able to win more in PvP. So the fact that you have to buy a booster in order to stay at that top tier stuff, or in order to get like an edge on something, is just absurd. I have zero recommendation for buying this. I honestly think after seeing this, like, the way my brain thought it through is that the way this game works is that in order to pass content, you need to be super strong. You don't need to be super smart. You just need to be super strong. And they are emphasizing this point with the 200% boosters. So like the one they gave Xigbar from Kingdom Hearts 3 just now, the one they gave Kingdom Hearts 3 Roxas, the one that they're giving to Supernova plus Illustrated Aqua or Illustrated Ventus. And so they're just piling on all these things that say, hey, you're going to get a very temporary boost in strength and you're going to have to pay for it. And the content that they've been releasing is pretty much like, we're not going to reward you for being smart, but we are going to punish you if you're not strong enough. So essentially the content is you have to be super strong. And they release all these mechanisms for being super strong, but you have to pay for them. Like, you literally have to pay to be strong. You cannot be smart in this game and get what you want. No, like, that very sparingly works. The last time I saw a really smart play was when Roboloid showed us his defensive setup in order to defeat Genie Jafar. And even at that point, you still had to be super strong with the right metals. So, I don't like this. I really don't like that they're making you pay, that they're giving you these temporary boosts. So it's pretty much like, spend your money and you'll be strong for 20 days. And I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, why are you making people pay for temporary reward? This game used to work in a way where if you saw a medal and you realized its value, or if you listened to people and realized the value, you put into that medal and it would last you a long time. It could last you months. But now nothing in this game is permanent. Now everything is just temporary. It's very sparing that something that's relevant a month ago is relevant today. And while it's nice that the game is progressing forward, it's progressing in a way where it's just like, well, I have a bigger stick than you, so I win. And I don't like it. I really don't like when a game is just a power creep. And that is, for anyone who's like plays card games, that's why I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because power creeps are awful. It's nice in order to, you know, kind of adjust to new things and stuff, but you shouldn't be making a game that completely outdates itself within a few weeks. And I don't think it's healthy. I really don't think it's healthy. So if you're a super whale, if you want to stay super relevant, if you have infinite amount of money in the actual world, by all means, it's your money. You get to decide what to do with it. However, if you're asking my recommendation, don't buy these. Honestly, just chill in Kingdom Hearts Union Cross for the rest of June to figure out what the heck is going to happen with this game. What are they going to do to us in July? Because we are being treated like garbage right now, in my opinion. With that 200% booster that they're giving the featured medals, with these avatar boards, with all the paying stuff that they're making you do, it's ridiculous. And there's very little payoff for it. Let's go to the content and let's see what we've actually got. So we're getting like, what, 5 story quests every 2 months? So we're obviously not catching up in that regard. We've got a raid event, which is pretty solid. I feel like the game relies on people raiding in order to get like the hours clocked in. So I think that Google like pays you for your app if more people are using it for X amount of time. So rating is just kind of, I feel like, a ploy to that. This, not too big of a deal. You're getting 1 power gem and a title. So it was nice to be able to kind of just challenge yourself. But not too particularly special. Event coins, whatever, you know, not too great. You can get jewels, which is nice, but man, you have to invest a lot of time into this. The 1-turn challenge, there was nothing great in this. It's just event coins. You don't get any particularly special rewards. Magic brooms, whatever. The Donald stuff. This was actually kind of fun. It was kind of fun. It was super easy. All you had to do is have like Kingdom Hearts 3 Kyrie and just put it on fairy stars, just run through the event really quick, and you got all this free stuff for like literally zero, almost minimal effort. And then Chasm of Challenges, whatever. So that's your content. That's your content that you're paying for. So don't get trapped in the idea that you have to be the best, because really, what are you the best at? You know, like, honestly, I get that some people really take pride in that, and don't get me wrong, like, if you take pride in that, good for you, honestly. But for everyone else that just wants to enjoy a game for fun, is this really that fun? Like, is this really what we're giving in for? And I feel like they're really doing the Kingdom Hearts community bad with events like this, with boosters like this, with all this crazy stuff that you have to pay for. So really, if you're asking for a recommendation at the end of a 30-minute long video, just play to get your daily jewels. Do what you can do. Don't overexert yourself. Nothing is temporary, or nothing is forever in this game right now. There is very little reason to think that the stuff you have right now is going to be super valuable in the future. So save your jewels if you want. If you want to pull for fun, by all means, your call. Right now, the thing that I think I'd spend jewels on, if I had to spend jewels on, is going to be the Supernova Falling Price deal, or the trait avatar boards from medals that I already have. If I could find them. These guys. Or even these gem boards, honestly. If you need to catch up in strength, the gem boards are really, really solid. So, yeah, that's what I think about, like, everything that's going on right now. I think that Union Cross is in a really bad place. I think that they're trying to take advantage of players. I think they're trying to make you pay for things. And it's just not good. Like, it's not what people want in a video game. It just makes people angry, to be honest. So if you are a diehard Kingdom Hearts fan like I am, hang in there. I hope this game gets better. I hope they kind of develop a team that's like, hey, let's get some players that have done this for a long time, and let's kind of just beta test it on them. Let's see what they think about it. But I know that's kind of a long shot. I definitely think it's a good idea to hear like player feedback, and I wish they released the player feedback survey more often, but they don't. So yeah, just chill for the month of June in Union Cross. It's really not in a good place. And enjoy the game. Enjoy the game if you genuinely enjoy it right now. But that's completely up to you. I definitely think in my 3 years of playing this game, this is probably one of the low lows that this game has had. But if you have differing opinions, honestly, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer and respond when I have time to. But yeah, I really would not recommend Kingdom Hearts Union Cross to a gamer right now. I really, as much as that really pains me, because I love Kingdom Hearts. I love it. You guys have seen all the weird random stuff that I have from the series, like the keychains, the art, all that stuff. But this game is just not in a good spot right now. And I hope, and I hope, and I hope, and I hope it gets better down the line. So I'm just going to play June out. Maybe I'll just pull for fun here and there. Make sure to do your daily pull, because that's still free no matter what. But I'm going to see. I'm going to wait it out. Union Cross right now is not really worth the amount of time that I normally put into it. So hopefully this informational video helps you make decisions. And if you want to take a break from the game, by all means, I can almost guarantee you will have more fun doing something that rewards you more frequently. I'm probably going to be playing more Star Ocean Anamnesis, playing Kingdom Hearts 3, watching Code Geass, whatever I want to do right now. But I'm going to be trying to stray away from Kingdom Hearts Union Cross for a little bit. Just take my mind off of it, really. Alright, let's wrap this up on a good note by pulling from the free banner. So, we've got one free medal draw for the day. Maybe I'll buy VIP later for the jewels for that Ventus, for that super cute arm part. So, let's go ahead and do our free pull for the day, wrapping up this 35-minute long video. Thank you all so much for hanging in there. We've got, ooh, okay, we got a 6-star, okay, a Marine Roomba, Kingdom Hearts 3 Marine Roomba. So that is a trait medal that is going to go to my 7-star version of that. But with that being said, that wraps up this video. Again, it was a lot of stuff we talked about, so hopefully, and I recommend this definitely, listen to my videos at times 1.5, times 1.75, times 2 speed, because I talk about a lot of stuff in these videos. Alright, with that being said, that is the end of this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If there are any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to drop them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to answer when I have the time. But as always, everyone, until next time, take it easy.